afternoon. Yeah, thought you knew. Harris is drinking, and yes, I'm thinking, and I'm plotting and scheming. All right. Welcome. Harry's drinking again to the Harris is Drinking Again podcast. I'm your host, Harry Too Scary. Tonight, man, we had a special guest in the house, an artist, a man, an entertainer. From what I know about your music, a father.
Yes, sir.
And this man here, he goes by the name Xander Rage. 1 second here, fucking around. That's why I like to do these edits and shit. He goes by the name of Xander Rage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
man, this was a little music in the background. Thank you for everybody tuning in. This was made way through SA Habit.
Yes, sir.
From Silver State Familia, man. One of our homeboys, apparently. And
Yes,
and he kind of reached out to him. Hey man, you got any other artists and stuff like that can want to do something? And you were the first person that he shouted out, man. So
hell yeah, that's what's up. Hey, shout out to SA Habit for that, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to SA Habit, man. Silver State Familia. You guys over here, man, with the water. He was drinking water too. Over here on the homemade old fashioned. Lagging 1 sec. But yes, sir, man. So are you in Texas currently or
Yes, sir. Chuco Town to be exact, bro.
Tuco Town? What was that?
Chuco Town to be exact. City, baby.
Okay.
915.
So I've never been to Texas. It's definitely a state, man, I want to go to. Just knowing the vibe and the people that I met from Texas, I could definitely get down with the Texas living. What part of Texas are you from? For the people that don't know.
West Texas. We're that little dot all the way to the west. You know, I'm in border city. We're a little border city right next to Juarez and shit. For those that don't know, I realize most people do know. As soon as they hear El Paso, they're like, "Oh shit, you go to Juarez and blah." Yeah, West Texas. We're that little star right there on the motherfucking edge.
Okay. West Texas, Juarez. Yeah, man. That's a crazy little border town. I know it goes down over there.
It's good, man. Like, it's like any other place, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta move with precaution.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, have you been out there all your life? Or most of your life?
Most of my life. And then when I was 13, I left to city, bro. And then that's when I met a whole new world. I was always in tune like with West Coast music, but because out here in El Paso, like they got all that old school West Coast type vibes. You know what I mean? Like up to this day, even in the radio, they still play like Tupac and Too Deep and shit like that. So I grew up on that, and then I moved to Salt Lake for like 9 years. Went to school over there, my little stomping ground. I was there for like 9 years. Then I came back over here for like another 4, and then I went back, and then I'm back over here now. So I've been back and forth with that.
Okay, but familiar with Salt Lake and the. Did you ever? You probably went to Wendover then and shit, all that. Did you ever go to Wendover and? Yeah, is that?
Believe I'm not too familiar. I've been to like Elko and shit like that. Thanks to the homie Habit and shit. But yeah, we used to go party at Wendover and shit. We used to go when we met Habit out at I met Habit through Cognac King. That was one of the homies in Salt Lake. And then we ended up going to Wendover and chilling at that little, that little strip joint they had out there, and we used to kick it and do all kinds of
exposure. Yeah. Many of wonderful nights at the Southern. Yeah,
yes.
Habit
was always a great accommodator when we was out there, man, because that's his stomping grounds.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Now, roughly, what age, man, did you start getting into music? Were you always musically inclined as a kid, and then fell into the hip hop later in life? What was your story?
I've always I grew up with different music, as far as being Mexican roots and shit. I grew up on all your Vicente Fernandez and all that, but then I had my brother who introduced me to some of that old school rap stuff like Scarface, Pac, Too Short, Ghetto Boys, Into Deep, Gangstar, all the old school stuff and all that. But when West Side Connection dropped that first album, it was 98, I believe, and that shit start rapping. Because I used to listen to Kid Frost and all kinds of stuff like that, and I used to remember lyrics. I was good at lyrics, so I used to be like word for word on every song. You feel me? And then one day when I heard that West Side Connection, I was like, shit, man, I'm gonna try to start like freestyling and doing little things like that. And so that's when I got really into it. And then shit, from there, bro, we started a little group back in the day, me and my cousins. It was called the 915 Killers. Okay. Me and my cousin Venom. And we just started doing little tapes, bro. We bought a karaoke machine. And we started on little tapes, on little ghetto covers, and when MySpace was out, shit, that's when we were like promoting our little tapes and all that shit like that.
Was that, and that started in Texas? That? Yeah. And then when you came over here, you kind of brought it and kept it with you?
Yeah, pretty much. When I went over there, I started meeting more people that were into the music and stuff, you know what I mean? I was like in high school showing people my little ghetto ass tapes.
Yeah, man. The cassette tapes.
There, I was still doing my thing on my karaoke machine, rapping over Tupac beats and whatever. You know how it was back in the day? You didn't have all these free beats.
Yeah.
You were just jumping over anybody's beat that you could.
Yo.
And
yeah.
What's up?
Not to cut you off, sorry, man, but 1998, we're probably roughly the same age. That album that came out, what was it just called? West Side Connection or I know Bow Down and all that shit, but
what was the album?
Which one?
The Bow Down album.
It was called Bow Down, right?
Yeah.
And then
was a black cup. Just the three. Sure.
Beautiful. Do you remember a CD that just said featuring Ice Cube, and it was like his face? It was like a black and white. It was like this. It was around that same time, and he had a couple of it was all songs featuring Ice Cube. I don't think it was never an official album, but those two albums right there. I'm not gang affiliated or none of that stuff. I've been down my like everybody else, little dumb little stuff. But in sixth grade, bro, Ice Cube, Dub C, Mac 10. I was living in Wells, Nevada. This is how stupid we were. It's Wells. There's nothing. There's absolutely there's no gang life or nothing. But we swear to God, we didn't want to be, Southsiders or whatever. And we didn't even know about the actual South Side, North Side, Norteño shit.
Right.
But we were calling ourselves Northsiders because back then it was like East, West, and we were wearing like black rags in sixth grade, bro. I swear to God, it was like, yo, if there was ever an album in a moment in time, and when Master P put out the Ghetto Dope, yo, as a young man, bro, that shit brainwashes you, bro. And I think that's what we have going on now with a lot of this drill rap and these young and these Chirac goons and all these kids that are just running around murking each other, bro. Because I remember how influenced I was back then, bro. And there was like that small, window where that music was really like, yo, like I thought I was the hardest motherfucker in sixth grade.
That's what it was, especially that, like you said, that Master P, that dope. That's That's what it was, right? Dope. Or what was it called? That's the one you're talking about, right? The one
that Ghetto D. Ghetto Dope. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. That was an album that had everybody like. That was something new to us.
Yeah.
Something different from the West Coast stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, definitely, bro. And I tapped into everything when I was little, bro. Like I used to listen to everything. So some people nowadays might be like, "Oh, you were listening to that." Aside from whatever you were affiliated with, it was like. But yeah, bro. Pretty much that's when it started, '98. And then when I went to Salt Lake, like I said, I started meeting people that were doing music. And it's crazy because I've always met such talented people on the other side, if you know what I mean, as far as politics. Like I met my homie Smiley in school, and he was like, "Man, you be rapping too?" And so we kind of clicked up and started doing little things on my karaoke. And then come to find out, homeboy had a grandpa who used to be in an 80s band. So they had like a whole studio set up, and he took me up to a Draper, to his grandpa's house and shit, showed me the setup, let me do some freestyles like on a real studio, dog. I was like, I was feeling like I was on top of the world, you know. I'm like, oh, I'm a real artist. I remember the drive home, I'm like bumping my little shitty freestyle, like, oh man, this is dope. I'm on a CD and shit.
Right. You remember that feeling though, like you first hearing yourself, right? That shit was powerful, right? And then honestly, bro, like you're a good rapper. Like, you know, I know, you know, sound and shit, you know, and everything. I'm, you know, listening to your spit, and you can rap your ass off, you know, you really be rapping. So, you know, so shout out, man, for real.
Yeah, brother.
Now on that tip though, you know, I was combing through your YouTube. I don't really do the Spotify. I listen to I think something on Spotify, SoundCloud, but mostly on your YouTube. Now, just your imagery alone, I mean, you're affiliated with the, you know, with the color of your background, you know, to stay political, you know?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm not active like that, but I'm with
That's how you came up and everything. Yeah.
Pretty much, y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And besides the politics, that's just always been my favorite color.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an Aries.
Uh-huh.
As an Aries, that is my color. Red is. So aside from the politics, yeah, but I've been met a lot of people. Like I have homies that are Southsiders. I got homies that are East Side Brown Rags. I got homies that are Crips. Like I was signed to Mo Cheddar for a while. Mo Cheddar's he's a Crip homie and shit. And what I liked about Mo Cheddar is every artist he has on there, everybody's affiliated to something different. Mm-hmm. Everybody put the bullshit aside to make good music. You feel me? Yeah. So,
focus on that green color. Huh?
Yes, sir. That's what it's about, bro. At the end of the day, it didn't outpower us, bro. I've always said if all gangsters put the politics aside and we go back to what the gang shit was really about originally, which was protecting your community. If we all came together, just imagine how we could overpower the government, bro. Tupac said it. Tupac was teaching us this, but a lot of people didn't grasp the knowledge. They thought it was just music.
Yeah, speak that shit. Yeah. Word.
So I mean, when I got a chance to work with Habit, I literally didn't give a shit what the homeboys thought of me working with someone from the other side. I really didn't care, bro, because at the end of the day, I'm my own man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the other man's gonna tell me what I can and can't do. So
yeah.
You know, I consider nobody but God, baby.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. You know, I think so, and that's one thing. Of course, not been there, whatever. But from an outsider looking in, a civilian, you know, if you could say, you know, but you know, I ain't gonna call the police. I don't know weak shit, but anyway, you know what I mean. As an outsider looking in, and even through the music, to me. You know, like the wet man Cali, bro, is like very segregated. The Browns versus the blacks and the whole beef and everything, especially in the penal system, whatever. But in Texas, it always seems like, you know, it's just like you know, love, you know, neutral. A lot of you know, the Latino black thing is like boom, and then you got white boys like out there just, you know, man, with the shit, man, you know, you know, it's just the culture different.
Ingles, bro. Basically, it's like SPM once said, you know what I mean? He was like, well, one time he said, I'm all about my brown skin and the green paper. But then later, you know, when he got incarcerated, shit, I like what he said when he was like, it's not about what you bang. It's not about your fucking skin color. He said, if you're a real person and you vibe and I can trust you, I don't care about none of that. If we can make paper together, let's do it. Yeah. And Texas has always been, man, like you've I mean, the first time, you know what really tripped me out? The first time that I seen a South Side and a North Side rapper together, and people are probably blind to this fact. You remember Capone? Not Capone, but Capone from Texas, from Latino Jam Records?
I heard the name.
All right, so he did
Capone, but I don't know.
There was a where it was him, Sir Dino, and SPM.
Okay. Sir Dino. I was just watching like Sir Dino on.
So that's the first time I was like, damn, bro, these fools are actually connecting the way you know, Bloods and Crips were doing, the way the community was doing. And I was like, why can't we get more of this? If we started doing more of this, we would empower ourselves more in the brown community and come up a lot more in the music biz.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I saw that. So that's why that's the type of shit that opened my eyes to be able to work with like with SA Habit and other artists and shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
I don't know if you're familiar with that with that dude Tony A, the Wizard. He has a dope YouTube channel.
I'm not familiar.
You know, we'll give him his shine, man. He used to be some DJ back in the 90s, you know, because he has like Dre records and stuff. He used to know Dre and all that stuff, but and do some work back in the 90s. But he has a YouTube channel now, and he caters, like he's straight up trying to bring up, you know, the Raza and his people, like all he has interviews with fucking Night Owl, and well, before he died, R.I.P. Night Owl. You know, Shadow. He did one with Sir Dino. You know, I mean, he just has all the legends on there.
It was touching everybody.
Yeah, and he's still posting, you know, every day. I've been watching his channel, getting some game from him too, man. He just interviews, like, I mean, and even like new age Latino content creators. Just everybody, man. But he's a real cool cat. You should check him out. Reach out to him too, because he's in San Diego, based out of San Diego.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check. Sure. But yeah, I've always appreciated that too, bro. Like growing up, I don't know who put these compilations together, but I always appreciated when I'd go like to the swap meet to get my little fix, and I'd see a compilation that had a mix of everything. Like, oh shit, Mr. Shadow's on here. Oh shit, they got Sir Dino on there. Oh, there's Brother Lynch. Oh man, this has a little bit of everything, you know, Quinto Sol. So those kind of compilations are the ones that I appreciated, because it was basically putting out to the world something that you can hear a little bit of everybody. It was giving everybody their exposure. And that.
Absolutely. Yo, it's like, I know you, man. Like, that's why I listen to your music. And then, if you know, knowing Habit stuff, man, you're naming all the real Lynch and like all, you know, I'm a huge Tech Nine guy.
Yes, sir.
That's my guy. You know, I do want to do this. I do want to have a segment about SPM, man, because the motherfuckers, you know, a chomo, you know, that's what he's in there for and all that stuff. And he still gets a lot of heat, and I might be able to still pull some views from him. And I get in debates with people about this all the time, man. Yo, none of that shit, bro. Fuck all that shit. I can't help that I grew up with SPM. He's in my top 5. So, no matter what, like I still fuck with SP.
Here's my thing. I got so here's my thing. Who are we to know what really happened? You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because money and greed.
Money and greed. Go ahead.
Money and greed are fucking. I'll make anybody say anything about you when they don't want to see you at a certain spot, or if you're sleeping with your homie's wife and she don't want you to say something, and then you go and you're a real nigga and you go tell your dude like, yo, I fucked up this and that. That bitch will do anything to bring you down. And remember what they say, women, bro. Like when women are mad, bro, they'll do shit that we won't do. You feel me? Not to speak bad on women, because I know we're like on the
women score, man.
Women's that, but I'm just saying they'll even tell you shit. My mother's told me like, man, when women are mad, you better watch out, because we'll do great shit than dudes will, and it's true. So I mean, I'm not one to say, because why would Baby Bash come out and defend the cat? You know what I mean? Yeah. In the courts, they even said homegirl got mad when she didn't get money out of it. Yeah, makes sense. But I wasn't there. I don't know what really happened. But like you're saying, SPM, to me, I don't care what anybody says. He's a legend. He's one of the best wordplay artists. If I had to compare SPM with an artist that has a good wordplay, I would compare him to like Lil Wayne, bro. Just the way they wordplay certain shit.
And his motherfucking rhythm. Like when that fool's
so smooth. Like he wasn't a tongue twisting spitter or nothing, but the rhythm, the way he put the words together, you'd be like, oh man, you hear something, you'd be like, holy shit, that was so fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my nigga Chief hitting harder than the bat to get your starter. I've been a South Parker since Welcome Back Carter. Charter to the plane, charger to the game. Then he calling out the rain. Like I got so many SP verses in my head. I'm sorry. I still fucking listen to R. Kelly. TP2.com is it. I was like 13 when that shit came out, bro. You can't get me to not fuck with R. Kelly. I don't
understand. Look, music is entertainment. This is why I always tell people, don't get real life fucked up with the entertainment. You know what I mean? Because like, and I'm glad we're touching the subject, because like R. Kelly, is how I tell people, I'm like, okay, so now you women are mad at him, dudes are mad at him, but you guys knew what he was doing. He was coming out on Montel Jordan interviews with Aaliyah. He was married to her and she was only like 14 or 16. Nobody questioned it then, but now we want to fuss and cry about it. Yeah. We saw it. We knew what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
And it's like, go down this rabbit hole and make people really question a lot of things, because it's like, look, bro, those albums were awesome. He was a great singer. You can't take that from him. How many babies did you make off of R. Kelly? You feel me? You know you was on that 12 plate. Don't lie.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't.
But I hate to try to make it be like, oh, you listen to that guy, so you must be like, really, bro.
Support. I'm not of cancel culture. I don't know what that bullshit is. That's some new age dumb shit.
Exactly.
And in my book, man, the darkness of man is like, to me, I just assume everybody's doing some kind of fucked up shit. And, it's just like, not on no crazy foul shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not surprised when the stories breaks out tomorrow. Like, just because so-and-so has had an illustrious career, man, the media, you're like nowadays you're one tweet or one thumbnail away of being labeled something. And,
and what did Tupac say? The media be crucifying brothers daily.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You got so much media, bro. It's like, and you can't be outspoken. Like, you can't say just whatever you want. I mean, I still do. I don't care, because it's like, you always got to express what you want to say, because there's always going to be a platform that you can speak on, bro. They can't cancel you if you don't give a fuck. If you're signed to a big label and you're doing all this Illuminati shit, well, then, yeah, you're going to get canceled, because you got to follow your masters. Right. So when you end it and you run with God and do your own shit, ain't nobody going to cancel nothing. Mm-hmm. Real talk. The real recognize real. And now, let me talk on this subject, and I piss people off with this one, so let's do it. 6ix9ine. Everybody was loving the kid. oh man, he's got IG going. Man, this kid is so hot. Man, lyrics were whack. I mean, it had a hot vibe. His music has a hot vibe. I don't care who tries to tell me otherwise. His music is hot. The guy knew how to make some hot music that was catchy. But at the end of the day, all of a sudden, when all that went down, it's like when I first saw him, I was like, this guy ain't no real blood. This guy's not really doing that. He's paying these cats. This is protection. This is an entourage. He's doing what MC Hammer did back in the day, just paying people to be around him. That's all he was doing. If you really took him serious on the gang shit, that was your bad. You brought him to the bullshit. You feel me? Because I knew right away. I was like, really, bro? Rainbow hair color and you over here? No, you're not. You're not that. But it's a new style. Nowadays, it's kind of like you got to do what you got to do for fame. I mean, I've seen even TikTokers that I'm like, really? Damn, they went to that extreme just to get views? But that's what it is. Everybody wants a little piece of the cake. Everybody wants a little fame, so they'll do whatever to get it. The kid found a way to get it. The kid found a way to get out there. So he snitched. But then again, was he really going to lose all these millions just to please a bunch of dudes?
Yeah. So, but with the whole 6ix9ine thing, I mean, well, the whole thing with him though, do you support snitching or like, you know what I'm saying? Like people like,
I don't.
But you're saying like you
the situation was in is what I'm trying to tell people. Like you got to understand. It's like this. Look, T.I. went through a situation where they called him a snitch. Then all of a sudden they kicked it under the rug and everybody forgot about it and T.I.'s great again. With 6ix9ine, I just feel like I was just happy for him because it was a Mexican kid that made it to that level. Yeah. You know, little Mexican kid out of New York made it to that level. Cool. Now, as far as the snitching part with him, we come from an era, if you did the crime, you do the time. You know what I mean? But with him, it was the way I looked at it. It's like at the end of the day, the so-called homies used him as an scapegoat. They wanted the kid to go ahead and take the rap for all their shit. After they had kidnapped him, after they had threatened to kill his mom, after they had fucked his baby mama, after they robbed him for his chains, his own people did that. Why? You know what I mean? So why would you sit down and take freaking 50 years for people that did you wrong? Would you do that? Or would you save yourself and say, fuck it, you know what? I'm going to get out here and I'm just going to go live my life with my millions. Fuck these fools.
See,
it's a predicament, right? And even Akon said, look, we as grown men, if we were to do the same shit, we would get a lot of shit for it because we know better. He said, this kid was a fucking kid. He got wrapped up in the bullshit and nobody taught the little motherfucker better. He didn't really have OGs. He just had people that were trying to exploit his wealth. Yeah. That's how I look at that. You know what I mean? Now, here's the controversial part. And we go back to, like Frank Lucas and shit. He was a snitch too, but motherfuckers still glorify him on the music. El Chapo, if you watch El Chapo, the show about El Chapo, he snitched big bosses just to stay on top.
Yeah, that shit's fun. No, they all do it. They all
guys. Oh, because he killed people, so he's a real one. He can snitch. I don't see the. You know what I mean? I don't see how that's different.
Yeah. So how that whole other people. I've just always looked at it like literally we get off this live, you know what I'm saying? And we willingly together, hey man, let's go bust this mission. And I'm like, cool, boom, you're cool, boom. And
right.
We do it. And then whatever the 2 weeks later, that night, you get pulled over, they question you. Nobody knows me, but some reason the police come to my house, vice versa. Like that's a snitch. Like, that's how I straight up, like, the whole, man, I'm a father. I'm this, man. I'm supposed to stop this dude. He just took that old lady's purse. I'm gonna chase him down do what I gotta do. You know, I believe
That's,
in.
that's being a law-abiding citizen. You're just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
There's a difference, and this is what some guy said on TikTok, bro. And I was like, thank you. He finally put a definition to it. So, and I'm gonna repeat myself because I've said this over and over. But snitching, bro, snitching is like you said. If me and you willingly say, hey, we're gonna go pull the slick, we're gonna go do this, whatever. We know we're breaking the law, and we both get caught. We both need to shut the fuck up, sit down, and see what happens. Mm-hmm. If you tell on your people that you was fucking with, doing crimes with, to get yourself off, that's snitching. Now, if I'm outside doing something illegal and somebody calls the cops on me, I don't consider him a snitch because he wasn't part of the crime that I was committing. He just don't want that shit in his community. You know what I mean? People gotta think, bro, and understand the difference. Because so what? So you're just gonna let any fucking crime that you see go on, any wrongdoing? So someone's raping a chick, you're just gonna be like, oh, I can't say shit.
Oh hell no, nah. That's where we cut it off. All that shit. But
that's what I mean. And then so like how you were talking about how people in the music separate. So we've all seen Straight Outta Compton, right? That's a dope movie. Yesterday I saw a movie called Surviving Compton. And it was about Mitchell A. They left her totally out of the story, bro. And it shows on this movie, Surviving Compton, the shit she went through with Dre, the shit she went through with Suge. Dre used to beat her ass, bro, like a grown-ass man. You know what I mean? But like you said, at the end of the day, people are going to be like, but Dre's iconic and he's a great producer. Yeah, but he was a woman beater. You cool with that? You feel me? Yeah. So it just depends on it. Just depends what people want to accept and don't want to accept, bro.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are too fucking one-sided nowadays. If it doesn't fit their narrative, they don't want to run with it. And everybody speaks about keep it real and facts, but then when you hit them with the facts, they're like, oh, that was harsh. That was too real. So what do you want? You want me to sugarcoat shit or you want me to give it to you raw? I can't do both.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah, I hate the PC world that we've. Oh yeah, bro. And it's like real motherfuckers sitting back like, how do we even get into this? I think a lot of people are, to where it's like, I think I would never, if I was a so-called celebrity or, these people who make these public apologies, but there's still people in the world that believe that that's a sincere apology when it's like, we already know these politicians have these big speeches, these campaigns, like this is rehearsed. Well, the people in this region have let's hit them with this tone and this speech. And then we're going to go up here and hit these people and affect them different. And it's all it's all a facade. The whole rile up, man, that's why motherfuckers like ourselves, and with your music and I could tell just through your music and everything, like you're one of them cats that wouldn't, quote unquote sell out, or at least, with I like to be me and I like to say what I want to say. And if a label's trying to change my image or try to tell me I have to make certain kind of music, I don't want it. Mm-hmm. I'll lose out on the money if I have to. I don't want it. Yeah. I have to change me to give something else they want. If I got to become some kind of product, I'm good. I don't want it. Right. Take that. Yeah. Leave that. So I wanted to ask you too, man. And I just sent you a link for Melon. I don't know if you have to download anything. If you want to head into a live, man, we could, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Let me see. Hit the viewers up. Because I'm pretty much ready to go over there. It should be an easy ass switch. You might be able to do it. Even just click a link or what? Do a little outro for this video. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this wonderful interview. We got more coming. Stay tuned with the man Xander Rage here on the Harry's Drinking Again, live all the way from the Decas. I'm working on my Spanish. Thank you for the brother tapping in. Salute, man. You have a good night. We're tapping out on the Zoom, and I'm gonna hit you right here on the melon, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, Xander Rage, everyone. You have been listening to the Harris's Drinking Again pubcast. For more, go to YouTube, type in @HideaPubcast. Look us up on Spotify, any and all streaming platforms. Harris's Drinking Again pubcast. Thank you.